to tell your own story, then you have more, I think, confidence in who you are now. Given everything that's happened, here's who I am now. So there's agency in that, and also in telling the story and authoring it in the way that using your language that you'd like to use to author the story. But there's the secondary benefit to it that I've experienced in my own life, which is externalizing it to a degree really helps. So for example, like you think of a hard drive, you've got a lot on the hard drive, and you sometimes need to get it on an external hard drive. Art can do that. Art, expression, any kind of expressionism, writing, lyrics, poetry, writing stories, all of that. In my life, I've seen that transform people, not just be other people that I know too, and it's such a powerful medium, but so is other forms of expression. And yeah, it's very valuable. Cultural diplomacy also does recognize these important works in all of across the globe. Oh, thank you for that question. More questions. Do we have someone else over here? We've got over here. Let me walk over to you with my microphone.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My question goes like this. As we continue to push for gender equality, in most conversations, we always talk about women. And even in this room, if you can count how many men are in the line, you can already see that we have more women than men. But then we tend to forget the reality that at the end of the day, there are only limited seats at the table where women need to represent the whole women that are here. Therefore, it causes more like nakedly or gatekeeping of other women. So how do we continue advocating for gender equality and being cognizant to the reality that we are causing an uproar within women? And also in cases whereby our leaders or those who have gone ahead of us, they choose which youth voice to listen to and end up baptizing them into the old system. That is why we keep on coming here, we listen to each other, we take things in rotation, but things don't change. Because if your voice is louder than everyone else in this room, next time you won't be part of the conversation, but rather you'll be part of the problem that we're trying to deal with. So how do we constantly move that we don't find ourselves really affecting the same problem that we are trying to address without going back to square one? Thank you.
It's an excellent question, Nino.
That's years ago, we didn't even have voting rights. So, I mean, we are moving forward, we are evolving, and I think it's a really long process and it's a slow process, but I think we're moving forward. And also one of the examples that I think is interesting is that in 2024 Indian elections, more women, this happened for the first time in the history, more women voted than men. So what is happening currently in India is that political manifestos are changing, political parties are changing the way they're approaching gender issues, the way they're campaigning. Now they're addressing more women-related issues, women empowerment or women child care programs. So I think the more we push the agenda, the more we will get done. So I don't think, and I'm saying this from, I don't know, the most hopefulness, we should not stop here. We should push more because we are getting things done. And I think this is a testament of how far we have come. And just to go back to Rwanda's example, the reason why I brought it up is because more representation of women in the decision-making bodies actually changed the policies within the country. And as you said, you know, helping a woman, we're just not talking about women. We're helping the generations. We're helping their children. We're helping their parents, and usually women is the one who's taking care of everyone in the family. So yeah, by empowering women, by actually giving them the decisive power, the political power, we are changing the landscape. So we all should be hopeful, and I think this, just also to tie back to the crack in the foundation, I genuinely feel like we are trying to fix that crack, and hopefully one day it will be all good and our house will not fall over our heads. So our generation will do that. I'm sure about that.
Thank you for that great question.
I can add a couple more things if you don't mind.
Please do. Yeah, I would love that.
Well, for example, I continue to push to engage male experts in the CSW discussions. I think it's very important. I don't succeed much, but my passion is still on. Last CSW, we had about 10,000 global attendees who came to New York. But even then, I organized 14 panel discussions on the sidelines of last CSW. I wasn't able to secure one male expert to speak on the issues. Some had some other priorities, or some left, attended only for one day. It's very important. We will resolve this issue once women's rights are human rights for all. You know, the famous saying that Hillary Clinton, in fact, she said this at the adoption of the Beijing Declaration 30 years ago. But this is not a reality yet. And to change the course of this 80 years of male-dominated leadership at the United Nations, I would really love if my friends are aware of this. Next year, there will be elections at the United Nations to elect our next Secretary General. And the time is really now that we must have a woman to lead this organization at the very unprecedented times of historic high levels of conflicts of all forms. So as we achieve more of these global goals, I'm very sure, and let's rest assured that the course of history will change at some point, but we are really far away from ideals. So I really love that we are a like-minded community here, you know, supporting one another's work. But let's not fall into the trap of like-minded networking, because at the UN, in New York, in headquarters here, we do know about the priorities of SDGs. We do know the status of SDG 5, gender equality. But there are really millions of people who has no idea about global citizenship, and this is not their fault. This is on our shoulders to make sure that the conversations that we have here are echoed in our own communities. So the bottom-up approach is really important to change this discussion.
Thank you. All right, we have room for one more question, and then maybe okay, hold on one second. Let's see what-
Hi, thank you.
Yeah.
I know women leadership was brought up in the conversation, and I'm gonna start a little off tangent, but I promise the question will go there. We often hear in social media uses the proper slay, queen, those terms get used in social media a lot. How important it is to have women in leadership and for women to encourage each other to be in leadership roles. And then my other question to add on to that is that in this room today, I do see a lot of males in the room, which I'm super happy about. So how important it is to have male allyship as well. Not just women encouraging women to be in women's roles, but also male colleagues as well.
The statement itself sort of stands as the ultimate answer here, but yeah, would you like to, Gaga, would you like to?
Yeah.
We are from the same generation, so I totally get the slay queen part of the question, so I will answer that one. I feel like women, like our community as women and as young girls is very strong, and we are like really united, especially by using social media. I see so many women just bringing each other up and just commenting beautiful things and sharing experiences and finding the community within the social media. And I found great friends online, and I have never met them, but just to feel that you're seen and you're heard is very beautiful. And I think that's why our generation is more globally minded, and that's why we feel like our other people's problems are our problems as well, because we don't really see that border. But to go to the part of the man allyship, I don't want to come up as like a man hater, because that's also a phrase in my man hating era. But I think what men should do is what we do here, right? Like showing up is already a really good step. Showing up is really important. And I recently attended women's conference, and we had this conversation at the table that one of the girls was saying, oh, like my boyfriend came to this women's conference last year and everyone was praising him for showing up. And I get the frustration that it's the bare minimum, but at the end of the day, most men don't even do that. So I think, giving you the credit is also a very good step, because that also creates more space for us to further communicate and further establish more things together, because we are not separate. We are not like men and women. We are we are the same, and we should be the same, and we are equal, and that's basically what Gen SDG 5 means for me. It doesn't mean, oh, women are better than men. No, we're all good. We're all great. We should treat each other with love and respect. So, yeah, I think that's my answer to that.
Okay, eloquent answer, thank you. Megan, would you like to add something to that?
Yeah, so I don't really agree with that. Like, we are not just women to support women, but also men support women, and we support each other because we are all living in the same world, right? And we are humanity. So, I mean, like for the young generation, like which is a support to each other, and also to show your competitive advantage, to know your strength and about your leadership. Like this young lady really good at for the social media, and just do your social media to amplify the young generation voices. And also we have the youth delegate to about the arts and something just to show your arts. And also we have some like just someone to support, like we also have like a game and across a different background, right? And we also see like we also have boy like use that like to sit here and to talk about the gender equality today. So this is about the sustainability. It's about more like an inclusive and sustainable world for all. So yeah, that's good.
Thank you. We have time for one quick question, but I'll say this, we'll end this session and start another one. The folks on this side of the room can, well, there's a line already, but we're gonna have refreshments in the back, and then the folks on this side. Okay. Yes, please.
Just to follow up, thank you so much for this panel. It was really amazing to see your voices being heard by everyone. And to follow on the questions that just were heard, so I'm a man, and so I really fully support women. I try to like get support for women all the time. But also I'm currently going into like environmental policy. That's what I'm like going into, and I hope that in the future I can achieve my dream of like going into a place where I can also be a policymaker for environmental issues, right? But that conflicts with me supporting women somehow, because me getting into a spot of like policy making will inevitably take away that spot for a woman that would have gone to that spot, right? So how can I, not be conflicted by this issue? What are your thoughts here? What should I do?
Well, don't think that way because your number is not high. So I really don't think you will occupy any of the quotas that women can access. We really do need your perspective on the table to make sure that it's a really basic math problem, When women are not on the table, it's 50% based off the potential. So you are already there to make sure that others also know that we are missing on this opportunity. So I really hope that you